Welcome to another episode of In the Classroom.
Okay, today, class, we're going to be talking about civil or civic ignorance. Can anybody define civil or civic ignorance? Joey.
That can be defined in a single word. I was going to put
Okay, that's not quite what we had in mind. Can anybody else define civil or civic ignorance? Jen, how about you?
This is a good question. I've raised it with our intelligence teams, or our national security team, I should say. It's something, obviously, that's under review, but there was not a conclusion last I asked them about it, but I'm happy to follow up on it and see if there's more to share.
Intro.
Good morning. This is an opinionated program. These are personal opinions, but we are open to anyone with an opposing view. Grab whatever you are drinking. Let's have a conversation. That is a long inning. I got to stop.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wait.
Oh, we're live. Hi, everyone.
Don't pay attention to the people behind the curtain.
Nothing to see here.
Nope.
Oh, my God.
Well, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Oh, thank God.
Finally.
We
Thanks for
finally
all.
made it.
Yes, I'm out of the box.
He is. He's out of the box. Lindsay. Lindsay. Oh, wow. This is going to be a good show tonight. And we're not even drinking yet.
We're
All on par.
I know we have nothing for shots, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, do we? Cool. Right.
John always has something.
Whiskey helps.
So let me try that again. Take two. Lindsay is a bit under the weather tonight, so she's sitting this one out, but we kicked Will out of the control room, brought him out here, put him on the spot. Yes, Will has been let out.
Still have some of the double oaked here to
Nice.
go through.
Okay. Cool.
So
Yeah, I got to be worried because I'm in arm's reach if I screw up today.
more than you already have.
Wow.
I mean, that
It's
was
gonna be
only
a
a second delay.
That's a tough crowd tonight.
So it's kind of funny because, everybody asked me when you walked in the door, why am I wearing a shirt and tie? And it has to do with the intro because Mike Supahara Show pointed out on an earlier comment that Keith was wearing a suit. So check it out. So I wasn't really wearing a suit, but just a shirt and tie. But then his comment disappeared.
Oh.
Remember I was telling you he put a
Yeah,
comment
and
on
I'm
there?
like, I was looking all over for it.
Oh, was it censored?
No. Maybe it was. I don't know. But no, he made that comment on there. So I had to oblige him and wear a shirt and tie tonight.
Ah, okay.
But the gray one did not fit comfortably to where I can sit for 2 hours and wear it. So I chose the black shirt. So anyway.
I
Sorry
just
to hear
feel
about that,
underdressed.
Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur, get better. God, everybody gets sick.
Everybody's getting
sick.
sick.
Oh, yeah.
That's
that time of year. Hey, at least we're
Yeah.
not in Buffalo right now.
Oh, my God.
Good Lord.
Good point.
Yeah, I
So,
wouldn't want to deal
if
with
you
that.
haven't heard, Buffalo's getting somewhere in the neighborhood between 4 and 5 feet.
I was gonna say 4 feet. I thought I heard.
Yeah, I heard multiple this morning. They were saying 5, then they kind of backed it down to 4 again.
That's like bury your front door kind of snow.
Yeah, it's the county, whatever the county is that Buffalo's in, thought I heard that they had a stay off the streets order.
Holy crap.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Really?
Never
yeah.
heard of that before, but that's
I
interesting.
mean, I know Wisconsin is.
Everyone in Christine's house is sick too, guys. Get,
Oh, yeah.
get better. Take your vitamin C's. Come on,
Yeah.
Everybody at my work's been
drink
sick.
more.
drink more whiskey.
So whiskey helps.
It does.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen Wisconsin shut down highways and stuff. I know a lot of states will shut down the highways and they're basically warning you we're not going to clear them anymore.
Right.
But I've never seen where they said stay off the streets altogether.
I haven't seen that either. Interesting.
Basically, I think that's kind of you're on your own.
But 45 feet of snow is a lot of snow.
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking mountain snows there.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah, you're burying cars and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I wouldn't want to be in that.
No.
You don't got to tell me to stay off streets and that shit.
So very cool. So happy Friday, everybody. We are here again featuring Black Rifle Coffee. I've been drinking it every day. I love it.
You still like the which one was it? The Loyalty
I
roast?
like that loyalty roast, but I actually like the 1776 better.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you
that's
were,
the
I thought you
darker
were
one,
showing off because the loyalty roast is open.
they're both open. I lost a little doohickey for this, so it's
Oh,
kind of stays open.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
But thank God I'm drinking it quick, so it won't lose its freshness.
And the vanilla, that's what Lindsay's.
Actually, the vanilla, if you like vanilla or hazelnut or any flavor like that, it's actually delicious. It's really good.
is
It's
it?
got, yeah.
We'll
it's
take your
really good
word for
coffee. You don't like coffee? You guys aren't coffee
Neither,
drinkers.
neither
are ya?
one of us are coffee drinkers.
Nope. Can't do coffee.
It's good.
I mean, that would probably help.
A hot toddy, yeah, that would work.
Oh,
Oh,
there you go. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you what I thought it said when I looked at it real quick. Anyway, some
Was that an
exciting
E instead of an O?
Yeah. So some exciting news. I have signed up for the Constitution course at Hillsdale College.
There you go.
So-
Awesome.
I got my first study guide last night. Started listening to the first lesson. That didn't get through it. I fell asleep, but that's because I chose 10 o'clock at night to start listening.
Yeah,
to it,
that's
but
Yeah.
probably not a good time.
No.
no, not a
Yeah,
good
but
time.
Anyway, I'm excited about doing it. I figured, since we have these conversations about the Constitution, it'd be nice to refresh my memory a little bit since I haven't studied it since high school. And
Absolutely.
Seriously, I need
be-
to do that
Yeah,
too.
and it's a free course. So you just give me your email address. That's all they ask for, and they give you a code. You sign up for it, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're off.
Yeah.
You're off and running.
Oh,
It's
nice.
I think it's a 14 lesson course. So it's pretty good. It's all video led. They have supplemental reading if you want to do supplemental reading on top of that. And if you donate to them $100, they'll send you a nice textbook that has the entire Constitution in it. And what?
Oh, I missed that part. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, we should have put, something up for the listening audience for them to follow along and if they want to sign up.
I'll do that next week.
Okay.
So
there
once
we
I-
go.
once
Well, we
I-
actually had it
yeah.
up last week also. So we were showing that. So I think it was I forget what it was from last week. The something about democracy, the downgrade of democracy or something like that, whatever I was talking about last week. So I
Right.
actually did sign up for that and watched, I think, 3 episodes so far this week. So it's very interesting. I will say it's very interesting.
That definitely sounds like it. I might sign up for that.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it for sure.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back to last week's episode and take a look at that. It is very informative. And then I'm also currently watching a video on, and we were just talking about it over dinner, from the Epic Times, so Epic TV, and they have a really good, what was it? The 100-Year War.
Oh, yeah.
So it talks
Yeah.
all about China's 100-year plan to take over the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, or the Chinese Communist Party, not China itself, but the Chinese Communist Party. So ever since it came into power in 47, they decided they were going to take over the world. And they call out the United States several times that it's in their plan, written in their plan from the 40s. And the thing that's really kind of amazing is the fact that we just helped free the Chinese people
Mhm.
from World War II in 45. And yet they had literally identified that the United States is the enemy and that we need to be conquered.
I'm not surprised.
Well, you sent me a rather disturbing video.
That was from that.
Yeah. And in that conversation, the two countries that were mentioned the most were US and China.
And they talk about, so the whole premise of the background of that. So it was this 2-minute long video. I didn't put it up, so it's not like we have it here in the background to play, but it talked about how the premise was that a paper from a scholar in the Chinese Communist Party said that the only way to defeat United States, and they go back to previous history, was that we're very focused if we have one enemy, but we become unfocused if we have 2 enemies. 3 enemies they would suspect would be a complete mess. Imagine if we had 4, and of those 4, one of them being a terrorist group. And they were tying up how immediately, like within weeks of us abandoning Afghanistan, how Chinese stepped in and made friendly with the Taliban.
Mhm.
So, over the last year, the Chinese have become, partners, I guess we'll say, with the Russians, with Iran, and with, they also talk about South Korea or North Korea, but mostly, Iran and then the Taliban.
Yeah, they've been buddy with Kim Jong-un for a while.
So it's just kind of interesting that this seems to be going right along with what their major plan is.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it more if that were the case, if they were, friends with the Taliban before 9/11. And that to me would like cement everything and, put it in a nice bow. But
No, they're being very opportunistic. So they don't care. They're just, because the video, so much I've watched, is there was a point where the Russians were very afraid of the Chinese because they knew they couldn't be trusted, and that the Russians were very well aware of the fact that the Chinese wanted to take over the world, and that Russia was not going to stand in their way. Now we're also talking that two countries that have a very long border between them and have not gotten along for centuries.
Right.
So them getting along now is only by convenience.
Yes.
and I would agree with that, but it would make more sense if prior to 9/11, because that's probably when the big war on the Taliban was waged on the U.S.
Yep.
I mean, if that relationship existed between China and the Taliban before then, that would make total sense.
Yeah. Well, if you think
Well,
about it, 9/11 didn't happen overnight. I mean, this was years of planning too.
No,
if you think
and-
about that.
and I get
That
that.
would make sense.
But it would set the stage then for exactly what you were saying then.
Mhm.
That at least to me. it
No,
would
I
make
agree
sense.
with that. I agree with that.
I mean, I don't think China had to be friends with the Taliban before 9/11. I mean, the Taliban made their choices, did their things, and China sits back and looks at it and goes, interesting. Then we pull out of Afghanistan here recently and everything else, and China says, okay, now there's a void.
Yep.
Now they need a purpose. Now is our chance.
Yeah.
That ties it up. Nice little bow right there for me.
Well, they point out that the first go around with the Chinese was Korea, but then the second go around with the Chinese was Vietnam. And Vietnam, they, instead of doing it directly, they were very indirect, and they basically, what was it? Something like 60% of their GDP was geared towards funding the North Vietnamese to become, basically, they didn't know it, but to become cannon fodder just to wear down the United States. That was the whole point. And they
just wanted to throw the Viet
they
Cong
just
at
wanted
us
to,
as much
just
as
to
they
see
could.
what happens,
Yeah.
and then it's all an experiment. They even go into COVID and how it's an experiment, and all this different kind of stuff. It's an interesting article because it really makes you kind of go,
Scary.
All right, should we go to memes?
Let's go to
With the
memes.
kind of
We gotta
like-
go to memes.
Who do we have on right now? Who's on?
We got a lot of people on watching this.
Let's pull that up.
Yeah, we need something funny,
Yeah.
something uplifting.
Something uplifting. That's where everybody's getting down in the weeds, right? Hey, Wendy, you're on.
Right.
What?
It was showing you were on.
Oh,
So
I
tell
love
me this isn't funny.
This is
Come
funny.
on.
This is funny as
funny.
shit.
This is
funny.
I love that.
Too soon? No.
Never too soon. Never.
Oh, I love
Now,
this. That's disturbing.
Just look at this for a second. This is so funny.
It is.
And it's,
That,
I mean, obviously the mom and dads are the biggest, but when you look at like Lisa and how she changed, and Bart, I mean, it's just hysterical.
Right?
that's just disturbing.
That's pretty
okay.
good.
Okay. So the creepiest part of this for me is Stewie.
Right?
You think
Like,
so?
No, that's creepy. That's creepy. Or maybe the dog. I don't know. I think Stewie.
Does kind of crosses.
No,
okay.
see,
It's
my
not
eye
bad.
keeps going back to the dads.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just
funny.
Yeah.
not Homer
Oh,
I wonder who
or
did that.
Peter.
I don't know who did that, but they did it well.
They did it well.
Not to digress, but I was watching a video on YouTube. I want to say it was last week. And they were talking about how much money those voiceover guys make. Like Seth MacFarlane and the guy who does
yeah.
The Simpsons and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And he said it's nuts, like what their net worth is just from doing voiceover shit.
I saw the guy that
Crazy.
used to be the so there was a I don't know whatever 60 Minutes or something like that, or of the guy that used to do all the voiceover for the movies.
Mhm.
you know, on TV and the theatrical.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The movie guy,
The movie guy.
the movie
Yeah.
But he
yeah.
made tons of money. I mean,
Yes.
like he drove around it. He had his own limo in Hollywood, and
Uh-huh.
he lived the high life like an A-list celebrity.
and all he did is read into a microphone. That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
He would
That's
literally step into a thing. I saw like a documentary on
Right.
him or something, and he would step in and blah 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 blah, and then he was off to the next one.
Yeah, and
It's
I'm
like,
sure there wasn't
wow.
no take 2, take 3.
No.
I'm sure he
No,
was
he was a
polished enough
professional.
where he
He had
just
it.
went in, nailed it, and that was it. He was done.
But what really gets me is, you know, some of them really fucking earn it. Like with The Simpsons, there's one person doing like 5 voices.
oh, I
or
know.
more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was worth like $30 million or something like that. Was his net worth? I mean, that's just
Who, Seth?
Yeah, Seth. That's just insane. I
If
know
you
he's
ever,
done some
if you ever
acting,
get a chance, look it up on YouTube. So if you don't know who or what the show Archer is, you have to look that up.
that was
It
on
is-
Adult Swim, wasn't it?
It
Archer?
started off on Adult
That's what I
Swim,
thought,
so
yeah.
it is hysterical. Wendy thinks it's very juvenile, so it's obviously, you know, that's why I think it's hysterical. Right, You
Right
don't
along
like it.
with
No comment.
Robot Chicken.
Oh my god! But it is so funny. It is so dirty, and it is. But,
It really is.
there's a interview where it talks with the cast, and they were at a college, and they were doing an episode, but voicing it as themselves. 'Cause
Right.
Obviously, it's not the cartoon's not playing, but they're voicing it themselves, and they happen to notice as they're sitting on stage doing this episode that the college has a what's it called? The person that does sign language. Is there a name
The
for that?
signer.
The signer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a signer doing sign language, and so they started going off script and coming up with the dirtiest words they could just to see how it was signed.
Oh my god!
and it
really?
is hysterical. And they go into it. You have to see it on YouTube because it actually will make you laugh a lot.
Yes, yeah, Robot Chicken makes me laugh too. But yeah, the Bart is a female who does his voice, and that's just crazy to watch her do it. It's very cool.
All right,
Sorry.
moving on.
My daughter was wearing a flannel hoodie, so I said, "Hey, the '90s called," and she replied, "Yeah, because they couldn't text." And God damn it, I'm really tired of my kids owning me.
That's funny.
Oh,
That's funny. This is so true, right?
Tell me
Yes.
that's not
yes.
And they give you that look when they do it.
Yes.
right.
Don't
Oh,
touch
yeah.
that.
As someone with a 2-year-old, that is
Right?
entirely accurate.
Erica's laughing right now and a little bit crying.
Right.
Oh yeah,
That's
she might even be dealing with that right now.
That's so funny.
I mean, looking at the F my kid got for math homework that I solved.
How much does that really happen?
Right?
Right. That's
That
funny.
that just makes me.
Is this
think
why
of-
they change math all the time?
I think
Probably.
it is because I know my mom couldn't help me, and I know when my kids were in school, it was like, "Why? That's not what I learned, so can't help you out there."
Is this Common Core thing? That makes
Oh,
no sense
fuck
to me
that.
whatsoever.
It just makes me think of The Incredibles when what's his name, Mr. Incredible, sitting there trying to help his kid with his math. Why'd they change math? It's math.
It's so true. So true.
My toddler was about to hit her head on a bar at the playground, so I told her to duck. She quacked at me, and she hit her head.
And we all want to see that video, right?
Yeah,
You can picture it in your head
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, yeah.
the picture in my head ain't as good. Oh,
Oh.
that's yeah.
That's funny.
Funny.
So I take it all the memes today are to warn me what I'm in for as my
Yes,
boy grows.
that's the theme.
Right.
See, just like this, too, 'cause every family has that one kid. So it's
Oh,
funny.
that's
So earlier today, did I send you anything earlier in the week?
No.
No. And so I asked him, how many memes do you need? And he goes, how many do you have? And I said, well, upwards of 11 or 12. So then he walked away from his phone and I sent 11 and I'm like, no, I need to find a 12th one. So next thing I know, I go to a couple of the spots that I normally go. So he comes back to his phone and there was how many?
Just like 25, something like that.
I said, use what you want.
I opened my phone. I'm like, holy shit, what is this? I said 10.
That's great.
It's always fun.
What the?
So you heard that San Francisco is going to start paying the transsexuals $1,200 a month?
No.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So
Get out.
Nancy's going to go and start getting her extra
Oh my
income
God. They're going to pay him for what?
because they're underprivileged, according to the mayor of San Francisco.
Yeah, well.
Well, didn't they choose that?
Go California.
Wow.
Hating your country is like hating your parents and still living in their home. Move out, be happy.
Right.
Else.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
So much.
And that goes right along with the, if you don't like this country, for other countries,
Mhm.
then we will just not pay you to hate us.
That's
Right.
100%.
And for everybody out there that thinks socialism is the best and we need it here, go live in a socialist fucking country.
Yep.
Right.
Please
Venezuela is looking for people.
spend a fucking month in a socialist country and then tell me what you think.
You're really taking Lindsay's place, aren't you? You're
Well,
just
not only that-
dropping the F-bombs.
Not only that, he realizes there's no button to push. So
Yeah.
I got to start running in there and hitting the button.
it's just like on beep.
I can't beep it. So
I know you
Tell me, read this, Keith.
Obama goes to Georgia and implies that Herschel Walker isn't smart or articulate enough to be a senator. And he goes to Pennsylvania. It's just,
And it's not even, that's not even made up.
Oh no,
That-
that's
This is
real.
true.
Really? This is
Holy
real life?
This is real life.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Truth is
we are
stranger than
screwed.
fiction.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Oh man.
yeah, I
Wow.
not for nothing. I feel bad for the dude because he had a stroke. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, I
But
get
at the
it,
same
but
time, it's
still.
like, come on, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck?
It's not his fault, but even with it not being his fault, he still does not
You-
belong.
Here's the funny part. When you watch his acceptance speech, you can see how shocked he was that he even got elected.
So I don't have it in here, but did you see the video of them? So Mr. and Mrs. Fetterman went to Washington this week. So he was being,
Oh, the two pictures of the DeSantis family versus the Fettermans?
I didn't see that.
No, you didn't.
all I know
Okay.
is that they show a picture of him standing outside of his new office, right? So Erica's putting in their beep, beep, beep. So they show both of them standing outside of his new office. Whoever took the picture cropped about a quarter of him out. It stops about here and has her almost perfectly framed in there doing a nice picture. It's like, really? Is she going to be the one that's, running everything in the background?
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Could be.
Well, I mean, wouldn't be the first time.
Well, that's
Well,
true.
we're kind of experiencing
I was
it
gonna say,
now on
right?
a higher level, aren't we?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, no.
right, so Erica,
it
you have to
wouldn't be the
beep every
first time
time
in
he
the
says something.
president's seat either. What was that? Was that shit? I think it was Woodrow Wilson.
That
Well,
was
they said-
before
they-
my time. I don't
They said in
remember
the later
that.
years that, I mean, they swear that in the later years of Reagan, the last year or two, that the senility was starting to kick in and that Nancy was technically running it. Now, whether I believe that or not, I don't know. I mean,
Well,
Dan Quayle wasn't necessarily the brightest guy either. So
Right.
I'm pretty
mean-
sure it was Woodrow. I actually listened to a documentary about it. He had like a stroke or a seizure or something, and it fucked him up really bad. And
Beep.
and
mean,
For those taking shots with every F-bomb, there you go.
there you
Take
go.
another
oh
one.
yeah, there you
Play
go.
along.
There's your drinking game.
Right.
There you go. So he got like it messed him up. He could not do his job, but they didn't want to tell everybody that because the VP that he ran with, he had no confidence in, and the VP apparently had no confidence in himself and did not want the presidency. So they all agreed, the VP, the wife, and the doctor all agreed to keep it secret. And basically she handled what portions of his job she could without letting anybody know. And Congress was like up their ass because they were wondering what the hell was going on because he was just secluded to his bed.
Right.
And they just lied to him for months.
I
That's
just
crazy.
I just realized I think I zoomed in too much on your guys' camera because we look like a sizing chart. Start from John, it goes down to Will.
Easy.
I was wondering why I look kind of like rinky dink over here.
I just noticed
Do you
that.
have the keystone setting wrong on this camera?
He's trying to make me look like mini me over here.
Well, no, and I look right across at you, and you look like you're taller than me, but I'm looking on the screen, and we just go down in size. Oh,
You all right?
sorry. Had to point that out.
That's some funny shit. You can't just make that up.
Oh, man.
I got one more meme here.
Oh, my
Let's talk that out.
Dude.
Shot my first
I had to
turkey
put that
today.
on.
Scared the crap out of everybody in the frozen food section. It was awesome.
Oh,
I had
that's
to put
great.
that one in there.
Real life Elmer Fudd right there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
There you go.
Eleanor took over for FDR when he had a stroke. Wilson too.
Interesting.
So Wilson, the premise of the documentary I was listening to was saying that Wilson's wife was technically the first female president.
Okay, that's interesting.
Did not know that.
Yeah, nobody did.
I thought Eleanor Roosevelt wanted nothing to do with the White House. I thought that's the way it went. I thought she was very key on, like, what do you want to call it? You know, like the parties and stuff like that and what the protocols were. But other than that, she was like never there. She would show up for parties and stuff, but she was like never there. At least that's the way what I thought it was, but I could be wrong.
Very interesting.
Don't know.
All right, we got news of the week.
News of the
Let's
week.
do some news of the week.
The Chronicle. We have the
Dun, dun, dun,
Chronicle.
dun,
You gotta yeah, hit the music, Will. Little Will. You gotta at least pull up the screen.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, I'll do it.
I can do that.
He's out of his element. He's used to
Oh
being
my
in the
God.
control room there, you know.
All right, season
I
2,
got
episode
no
11.
buttons. I got a mouse though.
See, there you go. All right, so this is going to be technically Thanksgiving week, at least as far as the show is concerned, because by the time you see us again, it'll be the day after
Black Friday.
Black Friday. So, as we showed,
What?
you know, what? When the shit hits the fan, what do? You ever need when your husband needs you to do?
Oh,
You
I get
do
what
whatever you
she's
need
saying.
to do,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do whatever your husband needs
Yeah.
you to do when shit hits the fan.
right?
Like literally, shit hits the fan, or
I mean, we don't know what happens in the White House currently.
right? Exactly.
Right? Jill
It's possible he's a flinger.
You know, you got to think Jill would probably be the best one to be running things right now.
I mean, choice between Biden and Kamala? Yeah.
Yeah, Jill
you're
might be
probably
the best
right.
option. So I thought this was interesting. Just, you know, a couple things that were funny and also a little sad, a little interesting, I guess. This was something I will admit I did not go. I should have, and shame on me for not doing it. I didn't go and check to verify if this is the correct. I know that there was vast outspending on, say, like Kelly versus Masters and Master versus Laxall. And, you know, I know that they were vastly outspending, the Democrats were versus the Republicans.
Mhm.
And now we come and find out that actually a lot of the spending was this guy that's sitting in the Bahamas that his cryptocurrency just crashed. And
I
he
was
was the
watching
second largest contributor to the Democratic PACs.
That I didn't see.
You know what else is great about that? You know who his biggest contributor is? Ukraine.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah, there's
I
a
did read that.
there's
I
a
did
theory
read
out
that.
there that all this money going to the Ukraine or to the Ukrainians, there's a certain amount of it that is being siphoned off and filtered back to the U.S. as payoff money.
Mhm.
Yep.
Which
It-
Not surprising.
It's using a country for money laundering.
Right.
mhm.
So, in their theory of civic ignorance, we're gonna spend a little time, and we'll break a little with the normal rhythm of the show, and we'll kind of do a little bit of a little civics lesson, be informative, and maybe have some laughs and some good questions. So this is from the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator. So did you have that video? The other video, the Cuomo video?
No, that one I didn't get a chance to put up.
Okay, so there's one of the famous videos where Chris Cuomo was sitting there and arguing with he was actually arguing with was it a senator or was it a pastor? I think it was a priest.
No, I think it was a pastor that he was arguing.
And he's sitting there and he goes, that these powers that we're endowed with come from man,
not
and
God.
And he goes, yeah, not God. And
What?
And this priest had to say, I'm sorry, you need to go back and reread the Constitution.
Seriously.
These are endowed by our creator and not a man. Doesn't
Right.
give you, these things. So,
So they were taking it literally that, being born by man or a woman.
No, it's just Chris Cuomo is an ignorant
SOB.
Yeah,
Okay.
doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just I thought it was worthwhile to highlight the fact that governments are instituted among men, derived their just powers from the consent of the governed. So just wanted to point out that even back in this time frame, they were saying basically you are, as a human being, whether you want to believe in God or not, whatever your religion is, the whole idea is that by your creator, whatever religion you want to believe in or whatever, as a human being, you're endowed with these rights that cannot be, what do you want to call it, construed, or can't be limited, infringed upon by another person.
So they really want to push the agenda that these are given to you by man, not by our creator, because if they're given to you by man, they can be taken away by man.
Right. Exactly.
That's where that narrative becomes so important. And the words they're using currently really matter.
And to that point, I think I was trying to find it in my notes here to see if it was in here, but I know in the video
you have show
mentioned,
notes.
No, this is my class
say,
notes
this is
for
gonna
the
be a first?
Constitution. He mentioned though that God is mentioned 3 times throughout the Constitution.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you have a whole new, I don't want to say sector, but it seems as though the younger crowd, and there's a bigger demographic of them that are agnostic. Is that the correct word? That they don't believe in God, that there is no big creator.
And that goes back to a conversation John and I were having a couple of days ago, talking about future episodes. I believe there has been and is a movement in this country to stamp out Christianity.
Oh yeah.
And
I believe that's been around a while too.
Yeah, we'll get into that in some of our upcoming episodes.
Okay.
But
We're gonna wait till Christmas.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. we figured
I
that
think
out.
that's
He
the
liked
perfect
the
time.
irony of Christmas.
I did.
I like that.
I mean,
it's just,
yeah,
it's
that
just
fits.
5 weeks away, so we
Right.
can do that. But very ironic.
Right.
I can't wait for that showing.
It's gonna be a good one.
So from the Constitution of the United States, we have the preamble where it says, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." And then I highlighted the part that says, "Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty." And then I highlighted differently, "to ourselves and our posterity," meaning not just for those of us here living now, but for those future generations.
Right.
Establish this Constitution. So I just thought it was good that everybody understands, for those that haven't had a chance to sit there, so I got my little pocket Constitution here, and technically it's the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Articles of Confederation. Does anybody know what the Articles of Confederation is?
I know what they are, but
But what technically is it?
When I was like 15, I knew.
They're amendments. Technically, aren't they?
Nope.
No.
So it is the original Constitution.
Oh, really? They're not.
So we went for, give or take, roughly, I don't want to say the number because it's actually in the quiz, but we went for a number of years without the current Constitution as the law of the land. We went with the Articles of Confederation.
Okay.
That was the first Constitution for the United States when we seceded from Great Britain.
Interesting.
Okay.
So just kind of interesting stuff. This was a really interesting article. I thought this kind of summed up everything. It was the best article that showed everything what we were talking about. The Cause of Civil Ignorance in America. And it talks about the political agenda. So, I mean, the whole thing talks about the sorry state of civic education in America. Failed to mention the actual reason why. It's the political agenda of our left-wing education industry. And, you go down, it talks about, free men that fought to get their independence. And as this nation's bold experiment would work only if its citizens were knowledgeable decision makers. Yeah. So why it's important. That's the key as to why it's important. And then, our increasing lack of civic literacy and civic engagement. So it calls for both, right? You got to be not only knowledgeable, but you got to be engaged.
Right.
Threatens the very basic of democracy itself, and the lack of knowledge about the nation's history, the working of its government, including the processes and institutions, cut across all ages, genders, and social strata. But the problem seems particularly acute among the nation's youth. Because what did they come out with last week? What was it that the Gen Zers came out to vote for? What brought them to the polls?
The abortion thing.
The abortion.
Yeah.
The abortion. And then the other thing was the we're going to get money taken off of our student education.
Right.
Though
they ruled it
they didn't
unconstitutional.
pay attention to the fact that even Nancy Pelosi said 6 months ago, Joe Biden does not have the authority to forgive student debt.
And the Supreme Court just ruled on that.
And the Supreme Court just ruled on that twice.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Nancy Pelosi said that, and everybody's like,
right.
We'll just pretend she did.
Yeah, and they thought,
That
the president can do it. Yeah, no, he's the president. So, nope, he does not have the authority. So I thought it was interesting that down here below, America's most prestigious universities performed the worst in literacy on the Constitution, and inadequate college curriculum contributes to the failure.
Wow.
So then the last part about this article was that a survey of 14,000 students at 50 of the nation's colleges and universities showed a majority of undergraduates barely managed to answer more than half of the 60 questions on U.S. history and government correctly. Less than half.
Wow.
Among college seniors, more than half could not identify the correct century when the first American colony was established in Jamestown. I mean, that's getting pretty bad. Yeah. Why are we not teaching this? Why are we worried about, and I've said this before, why are we worried about, and I can't have a hard time saying it. So what can you say it? Pythagorean's theorem.
Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah. Thank you. Why do we need to learn that when we should be learning about certain basics of history? We don't need to remember everything. But there should be certain basics of how the country was founded that should be required. And then from there, you should focus on STEM.
Right. The problem is, I don't think most of these schools want to teach the real history of how we were founded.
But even beyond that, though, I agree with that 100%. But you go back to when I was in high school, let's say I graduated in 93. I had all my history credits knocked out in 11th grade. So I was not required to take any more history ever again. I didn't have to do it in college. It wasn't required in college for me. So that was the end of my history education. Okay. So at that point, it becomes up to you, the individual, to stay up on our history, but nobody does that. Right. I mean,
well, you get busy with other things. That's right. For sure.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is once you're out of high school, that's it. You don't ever have to learn anything.
I mean, when you have kids,
so
all of a sudden your whole world revolves around raising those kids.
Oh yes,
yeah.
And they love to take up all that time. They really do.
Put up Super R shows comments.
All right, yeah. Here, hold on, real quick. I want to backtrack real quick because I think this comment is worth reading. It's 2 comments.
The ghost in Mr. Chicken, a character tells Don Knotts that he doesn't believe in religion, as if it's a silly thing to have faith. The Ghost in Mr. Chicken
came out in 1966.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Keying on the structures that exist and calling it enlightenment has probably been going on forever.
Interesting.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah,
so, is that all?
Bad, Erica.
I think places teach it, but for me, it was never taught the importance of it. I just mind dumped it. And that happens a lot too. I mean, unfortunately, as kids, we have You know, it goes both ways. I'm not going to blame one or the other. It goes both ways. You have the kids that are just trying to make it day to day, right? And you have so many different studies that you have to do, and you know, you're studying for different tests. And I've seen high schools that were say, I'm going to send a half hour, 45 minutes worth of homework home every night. And you multiply that by 6-7 classes, that gets to be
4 hours homework.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, you know, and so.
And I will say that when I was in school, I remember in 4th grade, we had to memorize the preamble. I remember that.
I think we did too.
I can't recite it now, but I remember I could then. But we had to memorize it. But I don't remember them really teaching the importance of it. Like, it was just a lesson, and they put it on the same level as literally every other lesson. And I don't think any part of our founding or the Constitution should be on the same level as everything else. I think they should highlight the importance.
Well, the biggest thing people miss is the first 3 words, and it's the largest in print on the Constitution, is we the people. That's
Right.
what gets missed.
Yeah.
You know, the people are the power.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that part of the misconception that you see all these studies, polls, whatever you want to call it, that a lot of people think that the Constitution is outdated. A lot of the millennials and the Gen Zers think that the Constitution is outdated. And it's like, how do you think that the Constitution is outdated? The whole idea of the Constitution, and I think that this is lost on them, is the fact that the Constitution,
It stands the test of time.
well, and it's not only that. You're absolutely right, though. But the idea of the Constitution is it limits the government's power.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea is that
Checks
it's
and
only supposed to
balances.
give it's only supposed to give the government this much power just to be able to keep the civil order. But other than that, I'm on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's supposed to be the whole point.
The people are supposed to be in charge. The government is supposed to work for us, and the Constitution is supposed to define our basic rights
And protect us from them.
Yes.
Right.
Well, maybe there's just some words in there that they just don't understand, like posterity. Maybe it's just, you know.
I will say,
You know what I'm saying?
the vocabularies nowadays suck compared to back then. So yeah,
it's-
they probably read it and can't understand.
Right,
three-quarters
that's what
of
I'm
it.
saying.
'Cause it's not really a recession.
You know, and I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna
Just
make
asking.
a comparison to like the Bible. If you read, an older Bible, it's a lot different than when they rewrote it into some of the newer versions. So maybe that's what they're referring to. I
We
don't
need
know.
the King James version.
The King
Yeah, I
James
don't
version.
know.
I mean, I could see a lot of them reading it and not understanding it, and then saying that it's outdated just because they can't understand it. So it
It's
must
like
suck.
But it's not. But
It's like reading Shakespeare.
I get it, but there are a lot. If you look it up, there actually are surprisingly a lot of the modern interpretation of the Constitution. Just like there's a modern, what do you want to call it? Modern writing of.
You're expecting a lot of these little baby Karens to actually put in an ounce of effort.
I was going to
But
say,
they but see, now I've said this before though. Those that sit there and waste hours on TikTok, but they won't sit there and take 5 seconds to go and research and verify, let me Google this. I have it right here. It's right here in my hand. I don't even have to put a foot on the floor. I can just Google that. Let me just Google that real quick. Nope.
social
Hold on,
media
hold on.
is, I'm sorry, the downfall of our civilization.
Absolutely.
Oh
100%.
yeah. I am
Yes,
not
hold
gonna
on,
argue with
Karen.
that.
I'm still texting somebody. So come on, really? So, and it's funny because I thought this was an interesting couple articles. I mean, back in 2016, even the left was saying that Trump was exploiting civil ignorance. So I found these 2 articles, and it's this one here where they, Huffington Post is basically saying that Trump was exploiting civil ignorance, and this is why people were voting for him. And then this one here was a YouTube video about Justice David Souter on civil ignorance, and this is how democracy dies. And actually, we have the video.
What I worry about is a remark that Benjamin Franklin made, and Susan Leahy quoted Jefferson at the beginning about how an ignorant people can never remain a free people. Democracy cannot survive too much ignorance. Franklin, in effect, had had a comment to which the Jefferson comment is a kind of an answer or a response. And you probably have heard this, but it bears repeating. Franklin was asked by someone, I think, on the streets of Philadelphia shortly after the 1787 Convention adjourned, what kind of government the Constitution would give us if it was adopted. And Franklin's famous answer was, a republic if you can keep it. You can't keep it in ignorance. I don't worry about our losing Republican government in the United States because I'm afraid of a foreign invasion. I don't worry about it because I think there is going to be a coup by the military, as has happened in some other places. What I worry about is that when problems are not addressed, people will not know who is responsible. And when the problems get bad enough, as they might do, for example, with another serious terrorist attack, as they might do with another financial meltdown, some one person will come forward and say, give me total power and I will solve this problem. That is how the Roman Republic fell. Augustus became emperor not because he arrested the Roman Senate. He became emperor because he promised that he would solve problems that were not being solved. If we know who is responsible, I have enough faith in the American people to demand performance from those responsible. If we don't know, we will stay away from the polls. We will not demand it. And the day will come when somebody will come forward and we and the government will in effect say, take the ball and run with it. Do what you have to do. That is the way democracy dies. And if something is not done to improve the level of civic knowledge, that is what you should worry about at night.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very interesting. And I should have said to you, and then after that, play the Star Wars clip where he's, the Emperor says, I am going to call this an empire.
Yeah.
And then, Padawan says, and this is how
freedom dies. Liberty dies.
Yeah.
With a thunderous applause.
Should have had you put that in there.
I should have.
But it's just, interesting. Yeah. And you're the Star Wars guy.
I know, right?
Serious.
I'm not going to say I didn't think about it.
I thought
you're not?
No, I'm more of a Star Trek guy. So,
Oh, that's right.
Article from the Washington Examiner. I thought just the headline was good enough, because it's an opinion piece. So, but the seeds of civic ignorance and disrespect reap a harvest of misunderstanding and violence. So it's just, these things like pop up everywhere. This was a good one from the Washington Policy Center, The Coming Crisis in Citizenship. And this is a whole good article. I don't want to sit here and just take the time to read it, but it was very good in the fact that it calls out the Bush administration for No Child Left Behind, and the fact that we were more concerned about just passing kids along instead of actually teaching kids.
Right.
And so a whole nother subject, but the fact that our education system is broken. Let's just
massively.
Let's just admit it. The education system is very broken.
Been seeing it firsthand.
We need to basically break that down and restart that over, because it's so wrong.
Well, and I understand why so many people just want to homeschool their kids so that they can teach them more.
Well,
they're not getting it out of going to a public or sometimes even private schools.
And this, you're absolutely right. And this goes to this video that was from earlier this week. That's
just like the Latin.
Whoops.
Well, I was gonna say, which just goes to exploiting civic or civil ignorance.
Right.
Sorry, Will. Hit it. It's
Just like the Latina saved the Senate, young voters saved this country. And we need to really understand that we are supposed to leave this world in a better place than we found it. When you look at the youth voter turnout in the 2022 midterms, they delivered key wins for the Democrats. Younger voters aged 18 to 29, which, by the way, now the Republicans want to raise the voting to age 28. Younger voters were the only voter group by age to overwhelmingly support Democrats in the midterms. 63% of voters voted for Democratic House candidates.
So the point in there was, now she's right in the respect that she talks about the youth vote. What she's grossly wrong in is that the Republicans want to raise the voting age to 28. There's been, as far as I've been able to research, I found one or two pundits, not lawmakers, that said maybe we should raise the age to 28 because of the ignorance of the youth.
The youth, right.
But I didn't find anybody. So she keys on that, and you hear the audience sit there and gasp,
right,
as if this is like a mainstream thing. And again, it's exploiting the ignorance of the people that don't even know what this is coming from.
Right.
Because now everybody's going to hear this, and they're going to parrot it from what they heard Sonny Houston said. So,
and there's so much
little
of that.
little Will is sitting there, and he is keying in on the.
Yes, he is.
Camel Toe said. I'm not even sure who that is.
That would be my mom.
Oh, no, who's Camel Toe?
Oh, Camel Toe, that's Kamala.
Oh,
Camel Toe Kamala said in her one
I need a
speech
matrix sheet here that tells me all of
that 18 to 20 are stupid. They don't know how to make any decisions. That's why we put them in
but they can
donatory.
But they can.
I can't read today.
They're
it's been a
enough,
long day.
But they're old enough to be able to, under 18, they're old enough to be able to make decisions about gender reaffirming surgery.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, let's face it. I mean, you have to be 21 to drink legally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, my point is that if you have to be 21 to drink, but yet you're younger to make bigger decisions that have huge consequences on a whole nation without having a thought process, or just not having a thought process, but not being mature enough to understand mature subjects.
I'm going to say the whole reason why. So the amendment that was added that made the voting age that made the voting age 18 was because of the fact that they were people that were being sent off to fight, and they yet still couldn't vote.
And that I totally get. But
so, I mean, the problem that we have with the ignorance of the 18, 19, 20-year-olds is not because of their age. It is because of their education system. And I mean, part of it is we as parents and community and whatever else should be doing a better job as far as educating them on how this works. Because again, the civil ignorance part is widespread. And it goes from, I mean, you're going to show later a man on the street type episode that talks about how it doesn't, it's not an age group. It's not a demographic. It's not anything of that nature. It's not one, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not one demographic.
Right.
It's not one demographic. It's widespread. And the point is that, again, just like we said, the education system is failing us. And so we need to do a better job on educating our people if we want to be a good country, if we want to be on the world stage, if we want to stay a major power. Because I'll tell you what, the Chinese is doing a better job. The Japanese are doing a better job. I don't know about the Eastern countries, but that the Asian countries are doing a much better job as far as educating their people. Yeah. And so, we need to do a better job if we want to stay competitive in the world market.
Well, for what we want, expect, and know our country is meant to be, we say that we need to do a better job educating. But the powers that be that have reformed our education system over the last, 50 years, 100 years?
Have they reformed or indoctrinated? Boy, this beer is good.
Both. So they do not want the type of education that we're sitting here talking about we need. They want the type of education that we're currently producing, because look what it's leading to. Look what the last election did. I mean, although can we take one piece of the last election and appreciate how red New York went?
Right. Exactly.
Well, there's certain parts where, I mean, it came down to where the money was spent, because we talked about last week and the week before and the week before that of the gross lying that happened in some of the things that we saw.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and those types of things versus how many people believed it versus how many people were convinced that it was just BS and they were just being lied
Just propaganda,
to,
yeah.
and they decided they were going to vote this way because they thought that was all lies. So, I mean, that's the part of it that comes down to
It's sad that the people that's their choices, that they have to sit there and kind of wade through the lies and the truths. And it's sad that they have to do that instead of.
Well, I mean, but that's human nature, and that's been around for thousands of years.
I get that. It's just, I'm just saying, it
It
just
is sad, but I mean,
and I'm just
we are not in, I don't want to say it. We're definitely not in Kansas, and we're not in a utopian world.
No, I get that. I mean, I just look at when I was a kid and the first time I was able to vote in, a presidential election. I look back.
Who did you vote for?
I can't even remember. It was so long ago. But the point is, I voted for, not because I knew the issues or really understood a lot.
Right.
It was almost like a popularity vote or whatever other people were voting for, that you hear the tidbits and you just, again, you're parroting something, not really understanding what you're parroting, and you vote you vote in how do I want to call it, in alignment to that.
Well, that's a great point, because I was going to bring up I was going to ask you guys what age did you first vote, because I didn't vote at 18.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. I did not. I was probably
kind of a communist. Are you?
You're going to throw something at me when you find out.
Dan.
Hey,
Dan, I'm talking to you.
I registered for the draft at 18.
Is Dan on? Yeah, Dan's on. I've seen Dan.
He suggested,
Dan, what the hell?
He never forced us.
I mean, I've always voted, but I didn't become aware and involved of politics until probably when Obama was running for office.
But my question is, when we were younger and we turned 18, are you saying we didn't have a level of ignorance? We did. I mean, we were
absolutely.
teenagers.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
well, we didn't do the research, and we weren't going to sit down and watch debates.
Right.
We had young people stuff going on. Well, that was,
But we were better educated, I think, at that level.
We were better educated, but were we on top of?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, Erica, you're absolutely right. But at least you decided that it's time that you need to start voting.
Right.
Right.
There's never an age where it's too late to vote.
Right.
So
never.
We missed a couple of comments here that do fit into this conversation.
Okay.
All right. Bring them in. You're the producer.
I was just waiting for the opening. Here you go. All right. When they are infants and cute, they don't know anything. As teens, we expect them to know things. Then as young adults, it's bad when they don't know things.
That is actually a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
This is the struggle of growing up we've all gone through. Today's kids are trying to buck the system instead of growing into a functional part of it. And you are dead right.
100%.
Yes.
Yep.
But
now
let me ask this, because Super Horror Show makes a good point. But I also want to disagree in some respect, because is it just today's kids?
No, it's not.
Hasn't kids all the way back to the 60s, or probably even earlier than that, but I can only reference to the 60s, always wanted to buck the system.
So yeah, in the 60s and 70s, you had a lot of them wanting to buck the system. But with internet, with social media, with freaking
Well,
TikTok,
they get to organize better.
video cameras in every last person's pocket. Not only do they get to organize better, but they get to promote better. They get to freaking get more ideas and feed off of each other to a point where it's
spreading
you have
wildfire.
litter boxes in school bathrooms. That's where we are.
Well, this
I
goes,
get it, but you also have Tide Pods being eaten.
right.
Yeah.
But this
I mean, it's not all good. It's not all bad.
They're eating Tide Pods. They're snorting condoms. They're freaking. You're okay. Okay. Let's try it this way. All right.
I'm just gonna say natural selection.
We are freaking doomed.
Your trans population is higher than it's ever been. Your LGBTQ
by like
population is higher than it's ever been.
but blame that.
You've got parents literally indoctrinating babies into thinking a boy is a girl and a girl is a boy. You got parents that won't call their newborn son a boy, their newborn daughter a girl, because they've got to wait until they decide what they are. So now they're babies instead of babies.
So let's call for what it is. Okay, let's be real. So what changed from our generation to this generation is, and I'm going to blame social media 100%, because when social media came into the picture, what started happening? Everybody now, it's out there in front of everybody to see, right? So everybody now wants to try to fit in somehow. So that's how you started seeing these groups, I believe, start to explode, because they wanted to be like that person. They wanted to fit in more. I mean, we did it as our, when we were kids, we always wanted to be like a certain group of people.
True.
But now it's pushed in front of you in so many different levels. I mean, way more than it ever was for us.
Hold those until.
Okay.
No, not you.
Oh,
I pointed at the producer.
So I don't know. I think social media is the cause of it. I really do. I just think
I would agree with that.
I would agree.
Pushed in front of us so
I would
much.
agree with that. Social media, and so those, and there's something I'm going to bring up a little bit later that talks about how TikTok is become. I mean, so
People can't accept themselves.
TikTok is now a detriment. So we know that Facebook was a detriment, and so that's why I used to be able to say, hand on a Bible, that I don't go on Facebook anymore. I will admit that now I just go on there and I check a few of the things, but I do not sit there and scroll Facebook. F that. I'm not doing it, because the toxicity
yeah.
that is on there is just relentless. Relentless. I can't stop it or seeing it or whatever. And so I just don't do it. I sit there and I check a couple quick groups and then I get off. If I'm on Facebook, it's for 5 minutes at the most, and that's it.
I honestly only have Facebook for buy-sell groups at this point.
Well, I do it I check a couple of my old squadron stuff and things like that. And, that's about it. And then
screw the family and friends, huh?
I've got some family and friends.
I got some family. I mean, I got some, if the family and friends that I need to talk to have my cell phone number. So, I mean, to a certain extent, yes.
I will to agree peek in on some family and friends on Facebook, but
no,
that's not a daily thing. That's
I got family and friends that want to sit there and
once a month.
They want to sit there and they want to air their dirty laundry and they want to air their political differences. And they think, because there are still those that think that if they put out their political views, that everybody's going to go, oh, you're right.
Right.
You're right. Yep. That's it. That's the comment that's going to make me switch my entire philosophy on how I think about life.
But for some people it is.
And they think so.
For some people, they go down that
it's
road.
like, you know what? And I'm like, nope. And then I can't sit there and have the conversations anymore with people that have the different views. If you want to talk to me face to face about it, where that way I'm not going to be, you're less likely to have because it always erodes down into the basic name calling and then blocking.
And COVID made it bad. I mean,
COVID made everything so much worse.
And so it's like, all right, so let's have a conversation like humans. One, face to face, eye to eye. You sit there and you tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I think. I'll usually try and back it up with facts. And then we'll go from there.
That's why nobody from the left wants to come on our show.
Well, that's usually what happens. All right. Are we ready for the quiz of the week?
Yeah, let's do the quiz.
Oh, wait, we got some comments.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back to these. All right.
While everybody's grabbing their board.
Erica says, I always told myself I wouldn't until I could do so in an educated manner.
Smart.
So, but now the question is, do you feel like you're doing it in an educated manner? And I'm not, I mean, there's a little bit of the,
Are you judging?
no, I'm not judging. I'm definitely not judging, but it's a little bit of a joke, but it's also a little bit of a, do you really feel educated? Because right now it is a lot of slogging through a bunch of BS to be able to get to what you feel is right. But you're not ever going to ever be 100%.
She's more educated on politics than she's ever been.
Well,
That's good.
That's about
good.
the best you could probably ask for.
I mean, in today's society where, yeah, you're right. So like even during this election cycle, me trying to explain certain things to her, like I'm even sitting there looking at articles like, I don't even know if this one's real. Like,
Right.
Holy fuck.
Right.
But sorry.
The left figured out some time ago, youth was very vulnerable to and that's very true. Especially for those that don't make their kids vote at 18. Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
Man.
See where this is
Let
going.
me duck since you're, firing the shots over there.
Christine says social media is to blame.
That's all I got to say.
No, and Christine's right. If you stand when you
I mean, he
was so quiet last week, and I'm watching
He must be feeling better.
He's
I
feeling
was rewatching the show on like Monday or Tuesday, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, man, he was so quiet on Friday on the show. But on the other hand, when he's at home on his phone, it sounds like he's drinking all the time.
He'll post the best comments.
I'm going to do a shameless plug right now just because we got so many people watching. If you guys are joining us for the first time, please go like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. That is why we use Facebook.
Christine, yes, there are some good moments for Facebook.
I mean, I get that. No,
Moments.
Christine, you're absolutely right. I have some long lost cousins that I haven't talked to since I was a kid that I was actually able to find out in Florida and talk to them. So, I mean, I get it. There's not everything that's bad, but there's just so much toxic content on Facebook. And I think it's the worst.
That's so true.
And I'm not, I
so
mean,
true.
go ahead, Keith, read that.
What?
That's all you, Keith.
I just make my comments on Facebook and Twitter. It's supposed to be to piss off the left. To piss off the left? There you go. That's when
What's OFFV?
That's when he's.
Is that like confetti?
That's called angry typing. That's what that's called.
Is that like when Trump said confetti?
And
OFF. I'm just gonna say
Where's our?
and here is your answer, sir.
I feel like I've tried to educate myself as much as possible. And I know, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of wading through the BS to be able to find what you think is correct.
And if more people would do that, we might have had different results.
Yeah, well, I bet we would have.
Yeah.
If the 18 to 28-year-olds would have done a lot more research.
Well, again, it just goes back to they were voting on one topic, or at least they thought they were.
Yeah. One.
Well,
Yeah,
and,
true.
I mean,
True.
let's face it though, but that's been the way it's been for generations. It usually only takes one or two topics to
True.
bring people to the
Yep.
polls and
Yep.
vote. So,
All right. If you guys are playing at home, please put your answer with the number of the
yeah,
question
please
so we
put
know.
the number of the question in your answers.
Yeah, it's easy to lose track of which answer goes to which question when you don't.
All right, question number 1. What does the judicial branch do? What does the judicial branch do? I will say that my as the judge, we have a long, the answers can be wide ranging.
Oh, that's not multiple choice.
No, it's not multiple. That's
God
why you have the
damn it.
whiteboard.
I haven't gotten through my Constitution class yet.
I like multiple choice better. I'm just
No,
going to put it out
no. We
I
are-
say it's A.
No, I'm going to go with B.
I was just going to make that noise for you.
What does the judicial branch do?
It's like, how do you
So when
say
it
it in
changes,
like
now you only have 15 seconds left.
Right.
What does the judicial branch do?
I'm probably wrong. I haven't even gotten into my course yet. And you're asking me all these questions. I'm going to fail.
it's hard to put
in words.
Yeah.
Do we have any answers from the audience?
We have one currently. And
Christine?
I think it's hilarious.
Judge thinks. I mean, that's not entirely wrong.
No, that's true.
So I'm going to say, do we have any other answers?
That's all
Make
from the
laws?
audience.
No, that's incorrect.
I was going to say rights laws, but
No, and that's incorrect.
that's
Who writes the laws?
The legislative branch.
The legislative
Yeah, you're right.
branch.
I realize that.
So
after I
they
wrote
review
that.
laws, explain laws, resolve disputes, and decide if a law goes against the Constitution.
Okay.
Question number 2. What is an amendment?
Oh, still not multiple choice.
No, none of them are. This is why you have to get your whiteboard. What is an amendment? This all goes back under the theme of civic ignorance. What is an amendment? Oh, Keith is very proud of himself.
No, I'm not really.
He's got a smirk on his face.
This is my poker face. I've never seen one.
All right, answers are.
I say a change to the Constitution.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Change the Constitution, and that's what Wendy's got. A change or an addition to the Constitution.
That's the word I was looking for.
Erica.
What did Erica put? Oops, let's add this. Yeah, that's actually correct too.
Christine's number one just
Because
came
because the first 10, so the Bill of Rights was actually, they were all added at once and they were a change to the Constitution. So there were 13 original states. Name 3. There were 13 original states. See, it's unfortunate that Lindsay is not feeling well because this is the whole point where she said, this test is hard as hell. I'm paraphrasing. I'm looking at you because I'm like, really? Really? Really?
Trying to remember the damn states
know,
over there.
Really?
You put me on the spot here.
What do you think? Just put down. All right, what do we got, Will? Oh, Boris, what do you got?
Going New York, Virginia, and Massachusetts.
We got, here are the 13 states right here. New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia.
I was good.
Wendy's only got 2. What do you got?
I had PA, Massachusetts, and New York.
All 3 of those will work.
Yep.
What do we got online?
Online, we've got, hold on. Texas, Massachusetts, and New York.
Texas.
Sorry, Texas was not one of them.
Andrea,
I like your thinking,
Andrea,
though.
you were so close.
We've got Massachusetts, Virginia,
That
and
will
New
work.
York. We've got North Carolina, Virginia, and Delaware.
That will work.
Hey, Andy.
We've got New York, Virginia, and Massachusetts.
Yes, that works.
We've got Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Georgia.
There we go.
And we've got blasphemy.
Blasphemy. North Carolina. Both the Carolinas. When was the Constitution written? So I partially gave this away earlier. When was the Constitution written? It's a
I
year.
like how you
What
ask
year?
all these questions on a Friday night when my brain is fried.
I know, and you've been drinking. When was the
Yes.
Constitution written?
Not when it was ratified.
Not when it was ratified, when it was written. When was the constitutional, when was the, I don't want to say anymore. No, when was the Constitution written? We'll just stick with the
I
actual
don't
question.
remember the year, but I'm guessing.
All right, what do we got, Will?
Stab in the dark. 1781.
Not too far off, but not correct. What do you got?
I'm not even answering.
Come on. 1787.
Oh,
I'm
way
I
off.
was way off.
Okay. And
So you figure when we became a country in 76, and they didn't even start writing the Constitution until 87.
Wow.
So it was that time frame that they were working under the Articles of Confederation. So, I mean, quite a while. I mean, it's interesting when you don't realize until, and so it's only when we get older, right? We were
Right.
probably all told this when we were kids,
I remember
I'm
hearing
sure.
something about the
but
Constitution
we
in
didn't
1780s.
realize we were not, it wasn't stressed, I don't think, by a teacher. And as kids, we probably didn't. We
you just
learned
don't
it to be
put
able
it
to
all
take a test
together.
and then dumped it, right? I mean, to be fair.
Because
Well,
it was ratified 3 years after it was written, wasn't it, or
Oh,
something?
do you
like
want to
that?
know that? All right. So, what year was the U.S. Constitution ratified?
Oh,
Glad you asked the question.
yeah, done did it.
It's funny. I thought that Lindsay was going to ask the question, but you walked right into that.
So you got to go with. Come on,
Come on.
really?
Well, don't blame me for you asking the question.
Well, I'll stick with my all right.
And there are 2 answers that I will accept.
Christine just ruined my confidence in my answer.
What's Christine's answer?
Christine's answer is 1788.
I went with 1790, but
So did I.
So that's what do you got, Will?
I got 1806 because I thought I remembered something in the early, like the first few years of the 1800s.
Nope. So
1789 we got.
1790 was when it was officially ratified, but technically they brought in Vermont as a state in 1791. And so that is technically the last of when it was ratified by the 14 states of the country. And so you see here, there's this is Vermont up here, and they were brought in after that. So, and I thought it was interesting. I mean, this is Georgia, actually. Did you realize? I mean, there's this part here that is, Mississippi and Alabama right here, or I guess Alabama and Mississippi over here. I got it backwards. And, Tennessee over here. And then you got Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, or Ohio. Here's Pennsylvania, so and Michigan over here. Just kind of interesting stuff, right? Always informative. If nothing else, we try to be informative on the quiz. Number 6, what are 2 cabinet level positions? 2. Just 2. 2. Just 2. Only 2.
Only 2.
Only 2.
Only 2.
Cabinet positions. Cabinet positions.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what a
Got that look like, are you kidding me? You can't give me a cabinet position?
I can't. I honestly can.
I mean, if we weren't doing a freaking quiz on it, maybe.
Right?
I know, right?
So, like, headlights? See my
There's
antlers?
16 cabinet positions. You can't give me 2?
No.
I will extend this just because you 2 over there are like basically what? Come on, Will. Have you written anything down, Keith?
No.
Come on.
No.
Are you kidding me? Come on.
I mean, I'm dead wrong on this. I already know
You are
that.
going to
but-
hate yourself if you don't put something down.
Probably, but
Oh, you know what?
And you're just not helping.
I'm going with blank.
I'm going with blank. I
Are
honestly.
we ready? What does Christine
You're
have?
probably right. I'm probably going to shoot myself.
What does
I didn't put
Christine
something
have?
down.
What are the
Christine
answers on the
answered?
line?
Did Christine answer? Oh, Christine answered. Okay, so
Arthur put an answer too.
okay, so we've got where the hell
Question
does
number
this start?
6. Question number 6.
Yeah, I'm looking for the start of it. Okay, question 6. We've got upper and lower.
No. Good try, but no.
I love you here. I can't talk. I love you, honey. That was great. Transportation, Chief of Staff,
No.
Homeland Security,
Yes.
Person with arms.
No.
Secretary of State and Secretary of Labor.
Yes.
To elaborate on her last
Yes
one.
and yes.
The stick beater person. They get a stick and a gun. We were reading about this one 2 days ago. It's like, or,
I like heavy metals. I am pleading the 5th.
Keith plead the 5th. And Secretary of State and Secretary of Labor.
Yes and yes.
Same answers. Okay.
Okay, and I got Treasurer and Secretary, and that's when I ran out of time.
Is treasurer a cabinet position though?
Secretary of the Treasury?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we're going to go very broad with
Now you're
this.
splitting
So
hairs, right?
Secretary of
I don't know. I was
State?
trying to think about it.
Secretary of State.
yeah.
What do you got, Keith?
I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nope.
What do you got? Secretary of State and what is that?
director of transportation? Is it a secretary of
So
transportation?
here they are. There is so we have attorney general, vice
AG.
president,
Okay.
agricultural, commerce, defense, education, energy, health and human services, interior, labor, state, transportation, treasury, veteran affairs, homeland security, and housing and urban development. 16 cabinet positions,
So they're all considered secretary of blah, blah, blah.
except the
Okay.
VP
Something, yeah.
and the
Okay.
attorney general.
Okay. You didn't know. You didn't tell me or warn me that we needed to study for tonight.
This kind of goes back to how much do we know? I
We
mean,
don't.
these are, and
We learned this like years
I'm
ago.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, I think that some of these are, I mean, now, did I get every one of these right? No, I will admit I did not know every single one of these, but for the most part, the questions I picked were not the
Hard ones.
There's 100 questions on the test.
or the super easy. So
Yeah.
there's 100 questions on the immigration test.
And we're only at the number 6.
We're only doing 20.
But still,
We're only doing 20. But
I'm
these,
sweating already.
but these are questions on the immigration
Right.
test.
Right.
Yeah, but at least you have a heads up of what you needed to study or that you're actually taking the test.
All right. So concept wise, think about
Okay.
this as the concept, not an actual.
Christine,
physical
you're
thing.
doing much better than us.
So
considering Christine usually gets all
yeah,
of our
no
answers
kidding,
right.
right? So as a concept, what stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? It was said earlier today by Keith, but as a concept, what stops in the United States one branch of government from becoming too powerful?
I might actually get it right.
What you
You might not.
Really? That's what I said earlier.
Wow.
Damn.
I feel the love over here.
Will's going, shit, that's what I was writing down.
No, I didn't write the same thing as
Well,
him.
I mean, you said concept.
No, don't stop it. No, don't change it now.
Can I change mine?
All right, I'm going to just reveal the
Okay.
answer.
Checks and balances and separation of
Wendy,
power.
what do you have?
Checks and balances.
Show it for the audience just so they can see that I'm not making this up. Checks and balances. What do you got, Keith?
I said the people. You said concept. We
Concept.
do
What is-
keep. We
what
can
does
keep
we the people stop one branch of government from becoming too powerful?
I think we control it by elections.
That's a stretch.
It's not really.
That's a stretch.
You said concept. That's my
That's
concept.
not, no, the concept is checks and balances and separation of powers.
It's all about perspective.
How come I
All right,
don't
what do you
remember?
got,
How
Will?
come I don't remember saying checks and balances?
The Constitution?
tonight?
I mean,
I'm going to give you half credit for that. What do we got
So,
online? What
out-
do we got online?
out in online land, we've got Andy with checks and balances.
Yep.
We've got heavy metal with
Ding,
checks
ding,
and
ding.
balances.
Yep.
We've got what is
Yep.
checks
Ding,
and
ding,
balances.
ding. Yep. Oh,
And
look at this.
Erica coming through with not a bad answer. Division of power.
That
Right.
works for
That
separation
works.
of powers.
That
Yep.
works.
All right. Question number 8. I'm sorry. 8. I almost said 9. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes the president? This is the Secession Act.
This one's easy.
Should be an easy one, but not everybody knows. And Keith is drawing a blank.
Erica, you should know this.
Who
one.
is third in power? Who is second in line to become the president? Who is third in power, second in line to become the president?
It's scary.
Oh yeah, it's scary.
It is super scary. Well, actually, it's changed now.
I should know this, but I don't know. I don't know if I got it right.
Doom, 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 doom.
Well, it hasn't changed.
Speaker of the
just
House,
yet.
Speaker of the House, Speaker of the House. What do we got online? Everybody saying Speaker of the House.
Erica says Speaker. Andy says not Pelosi. Metal says what is Speaker of the House, and Heavy Metal says Speaker of the House.
hard to
It's
believe.
unanimous.
Hard to
And
believe.
Christine, Speaker of the House.
Hard to believe that Nancy Pelosi is third in line to become
Right.
the ruler of the country.
Oh, believe me, that scared me for years.
And so
She's not. She's
number
not
9. Yeah, she is no longer Speaker of the House.
So she totally stepped down
She
as
stepped
speaker.
down.
So who stepped in as speaker?
Right now,
then?
they are voting. They're jockeying to take over
Okay.
for the last 5 weeks of this position. And then technically would become the minority speaker or the minority whip, technically. So in what month do we vote for president? In what month do we vote for president?
Finally, an easy question.
Speaker of the House wasn't easy?
Well, okay. Another one.
You watch
feel like
how
this is
many
a trick
how many
question.
seasons of Madam Secretary?
And I had Secretary of State.
I know. I'm just saying that was an easy one.
Yeah.
This one's too easy. I feel like you're going to hit us with a twist.
No, he can't because this is right off the
It's in
test.
the Constitution. What do we got for answers?
Everybody's
What are
got
your
I think everybody's got November.
November.
Except
November.
Heavy Metal saying Mayday.
November.
And yeah.
Almost too easy since considering we just had.
Oh,
the
interesting.
election.
Andy's answer is interesting. November
And
for the people and January for the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Well, I would have to. I'm not sure about that. I've been drinking. How old do citizens have to be to vote for president? How old do citizens have to be to vote for president? Should be an easy question.
We actually talked about
Not
it
if you're
earlier.
not if you're Sonny Houston is not.
No, exactly. That's the whole reason why I put this in there, just because she pisses me off that it's in the Constitution as an amendment and she's speaking out of her ass.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need 3/4 for just for a second for an amendment to be changed or added. You have to have 2/3 of the states legislatures to bring it to the floor, and then you have to have 3/4 of the states have to approve it. Period. That's written in the Constitution. You think that 3/4 of the states are going to raise the voting age to 28? That's asinine to even say.
Yep.
18 or older. I'm
Right.
sure everybody's got 18. We talked about it at length. All right.
Everybody in the comments has 18.
Wait, how many questions are there?
There's 20 on this
Oh,
because
look,
of the fact.
it's 8:30. Oh, it's time to go.
I like your style.
He's like, oh, we're gonna go.
We forgot or forgoed some of the other things because we're trying to enlighten the civil or civic ignorance. So how many justices are there on the Supreme Court?
Shit. I knew this at one point.
Oh, how many justices are on the Supreme Court? See, I love it when it is write your own answer instead of me feeding you multiple choice. Because this is where
But we like the multiple.
I know you do.
Yes, yes.
But this is better because this is where we get to actually get all sorts of. How many justices are on the Supreme Court? You got less than 15 seconds. A number. All we need is a number, Will.
I have no idea. I'm guessing
3, 2, 1. Doom, doom. 9.
I say
11. 9. What do we have online?
Okay, online we've got Metal with 9. We got Andy with 9. We got my mom with 9. We got Christine with 9. We got Erica with 9.5. How do you get a half a justice? How?
Don't
How?
ask. Don't ask.
Do we
All
have a
right.
head sitting somewhere?
Name
I hope
number 12 because Wendy's telling us that we're running low on time. Name one of the U.S. territories. Name one of the U.S. territories. The Chronicle quiz of the week, always informative. One of the U.S. territories.
Frick is the name of that island.
Don't say Guam.
It starts with U.S.
Huh?
I actually knew
All
what
right.
you were referring to.
We have Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, North Mariana Islands, and Guam.
Oh, Hawaii is
I
not.
had- I
a
had Puerto
territory?
Rico.
Huh?
Hawaii is not.
Why is
It's
it
a
state?
state.
That's
Well, no, it's a state, but
Are you
Yeah,
actually
you're
crossing
right.
out
You're right.
Hawaii?
You're right.
It was a state from the 50s.
Never mind.
Right as your music engine, Virgin Islands popped into
Virgin
my
Islands,
head.
I like
U.S.
that.
Virgin
I like that.
Islands is correct.
I was gonna say Puerto
Puerto
Rico.
Rico
I-
is correct.
Don't remember a U.S.
And the
in
fact
front of
is that you
Virgin
said
Islands.
Guam.
Well, because there's
Right.
the U.S. and then there's the British Virgin Islands.
Oh,
You didn't know
Okay.
that, huh?
So the Virgin
No.
Islands are 2 islands, but the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands actually split an island, and the other smaller island, if I remember correctly, is British. Oh, holy!
Well,
right?
there's
You've been there. I haven't.
I
so-
haven't, but there are. I thought
Oh, I
it was
thought you stopped
more
there
than
on a
one
cruise.
because there's like
so you can
Saint Martin's and
Well,
Saint-
the 2 main islands.
you can
Okay.
go to this island and you can stand with 1 foot in American territory and 1 foot in British territory.
Technically,
correct.
as you're crossing the border, yeah.
The only place in the world you can do that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
technically that would be true.
Well, I mean, no.
Because like
Canada is kind of belongs to the Brits, don't it?
not anymore. They became a sovereign state back in the 60s.
Hmm.
I could be wrong.
I thought
about
they
that.
still hailed the Queen.
They do, but they are considered a sovereign state.
All right, we
That's only
had
northern Canada.
Number 13, name one American Indian tribe in the United States. This is a hard one. Or is it? Name just one American Indian tribe in the United States. Just one.
like how detailed does this answer need to be?
Just one American tribe. Those of us that live in Arizona should be able to name about 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
I'm looking at you, Will.
I'm just wondering how detailed this
Did
needs
you
to be.
write something down?
I did.
What do we got online?
Online we have
Cherokee, Apache.
Cherokee, Apache,
Sioux.
Sioux, Cherokee, Navajo.
Yep.
That's what I got is not
Okay,
Navajo.
good.
Yeah, Navajo. It's interesting that everybody picked Nat. What do you got?
Navajo.
I
That's what
was
said.
well, it is the
interesting that
biggest one.
there's not
It
an
is.
H
It
in
is.
Navajo.
It's just
the
funny
biggest
that I mean,
one.
but Apache are so prevalent here in this section of Arizona.
Yeah.
So it's just funny that But yeah,
I was worried that you were looking for a more detailed answer than that.
so the current U.S. flag has 50 stars representing each state. How many stripes are there on the flag? You're really gonna count it? And you trust your count?
No.
Shit.
No, I don't.
Shit. This is basic civics 101. How many stripes is on the U.S. flag?
Ooh, I'm feeling good about mine.
If only you had a flag as the background instead of welcome.
I know,
Right?
right?
What'd you do,
If
Keith?
only.
I'm feeling good about my answer, though.
Oh,
Oh, so what's your
oh,
answer?
cool. People saying the same thing. I like that.
My answer was 13.
That's what I had. 13.
13.
And out.
Wendy's got a blank.
I got
Wendy's got a blank?
I got a blank.
13 representing the original
Okay.
13
13 colonies. Okay.
I was gonna put that down.
And
I'm like, is it?
everybody that commented got it right. Taylor's 13, Andy 13, Erica 13, Heavy Metal 13, Metal Forever 13, and Christine 13.
Outstanding, people.
Nice.
What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? It's almost a given, but is it? But is it?
What is it?
It has certain restrictions.
Only
Okay,
today.
okay, Mr. Biden.
Only today.
Just saying.
I thought it was an interesting question because of the fact of how many there are.
I drew a blank in the moment.
What Indian you have in you? You're part of Indian?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have permission to smack you now?
Yes, you do. So in the First Amendment, you are
Freedom of
protected
speech.
speech, religion, assembly, press, and petition the government. I'm sure everybody has speech.
Yes.
Yes. Speech.
Just can't yell fire in a crowd.
Yeah.
In a crowded building.
Yeah.
So what?
Frowned
So this
upon.
is a general question. Think about it in a holistic attitude. What did the Declaration of Independence do? What did the Declaration of what was its purpose? What did the Declaration of Independence do? I will accept that.
Oh, really?
It's close. Not quite. But it's close enough.
Whatever.
We're playing hand grenade answers
Whatever.
here.
I mean,
So announced our independence, declared our independence, and said the United States is free. And so Wendy has,
Free us from England.
yep, that's correct.
declare independence from England.
I was going to say declare our independence, but the way you worded that question, I thought you wanted a little more. So I said give the country identity away from Britain.
I'm going to give that.
Which is
I'm
true.
going to
Yeah,
say that's
same.
good. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
We
Same
have declared independence from England,
Yep.
give individual rights, officially declare our independence from the Queen, and gave us independence.
Yep.
Look
All
at
right.
Erica getting several questions right.
Number 17. This one's a little tricky. It's common sense, but it's tricky. What is rule of law?
How do you answer that?
I know, right?
How do you answer what is rule?
These are going to be common sense answers. What is rule of law? If somebody asked you to explain what is rule of law, what would you say?
It's probably a shitty way of saying that.
Crap.
but-
Winnie is writing an essay.
It's not a short answer. I mean,
Well, I started by saying laws are final. I mean, it's the law.
I will say that's yes. What do you got?
Follow the law or face the consequences.
I'll say that's a yes.
I said following the laws Congress made.
Yes. Everyone must follow the law. Leaders must obey the law. Government must obey the law. No one is above the law. That is the way it is framed. Everybody, government, individuals, everybody is.
I think some people need some schooling on that particular aspect.
Right.
John.
What? Oh, Doyle's rules. Yeah, I like that. All right, number 18. 18 out of 20. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. This is so easy. We've talked about one multiple times. Wendy's giving me that look like, are you really serious?
Yeah, pretty much.
Come on. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one. One, Keith. One.
What do you mean?
Erica's
describe?
gonna get this.
I
Again,
mean,
these are hand grenade rules here, so we're gonna.
I gave you 3.
You say to describe one. Do you want the number, the amendment itself, or what
No,
it says?
Just give me, something.
The basic.
18-year-old to vote.
There you go. Citizens 18 and older to vote, which is the 26th Amendment. You don't have to pay a poll tax to vote. The 24th Amendment. Any citizen can vote, which meant women, the 19th Amendment, and a male citizen of any race, the 15th Amendment.
I gave you 3 of those.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And Wendy's got 18. What do you got?
That's what I said. The 18 and older. I erased it before you asked. That's what I told you, and you said I was right. I'm gonna throw something at you before the end of this.
We've got. What was this? This was 18.
I love doing this.
Taylor said must be a citizen.
Yep.
Heavy Metal said must be a legal citizen in the United States. Erica said must be a legal citizen. Andy said born in U.S. legally. Metal forever.
Not true. No, because you can be a naturalized citizen or you can be it's yes, but it's not the only answer.
Metal forever said 26th. And Lindsay said every American.
Oh, metal forever. Good job naming the actual amendment.
Right.
All right. Number 19 out of
Show off.
20. There are 2 rights of everyone living in the United States. There are 2 rights of everyone living in the United States. What are they? Remember that preamble? You had to memorize it.
In 4th grade. That was like a century ago.
Whose fault is that?
Time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to petition the government, religion, and the right to bear arms. What do you got, Wynn?
I got a big blank.
You erased what was on yours. What do you got, Keith?
I said the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
See, that's what I was going towards. He brought that up. I'm like, whoop, I was way off.
What do you got? A blank?
That's our.
What's online? What's online?
Online, we have for number 19, we've got, where's it start? There it is. Free speech. We've got free speech from Taylor. We've got Andy saying religion. We've got Taylor saying right to bear arms. We've got Heavy Metal Beer Club saying happiness. Erica says free speech and the right to prosper.
Yep.
Lindsay says freedom of speech and bear arms.
Yep.
Metal Forever says freedom of speech. Christine says right to bear arms. Heavy Metal Beer Club says happy go lucky.
I like
See, I was
that.
going for
It's not exactly a right. And I threw the preamble out there trying to throw you off, but
You did.
I thought it was
Actually,
going to be too easy, and so apparently
if,
it was
if
not.
you wouldn't have threw the freaking preamble out there, I was going to go with freedom of speech
Oh.
and right to bear arms.
All right, number 20.
I was going natural rights by our creator.
Number 20.
You know, that's how I was going.
What is one promise? Now, this one is not easy. This one is not easy. I'm going to say this. What is one promise you make when you become a United States citizen? What is a promise you make to the country to be a citizen?
Just one?
Just one. One promise you make when you become a U.S. citizen.
How many in total are there?
6, 7, 6? I think 6.
You're asking the wrong person right now.
We'll see here in a second. I think it was 6.
Okay.
6 or 7. Might be 7. I've been
This should
drinking.
this should be like the first one.
All right, what do you got, Will?
Uphold the Constitution?
That'll work.
I said uphold the law.
That'll work.
Uphold the laws.
Uphold the laws.
And
So give up
online?
loyalty to other countries. Defend the Constitution and laws of the U.S. Obey the laws of the U.S. Serve in the U.S. military if needed. That is an actual what you promise, as you know, when you say the oath. Serve, meaning do important work for the nation if needed, and be loyal to the United States.
Online, we had Erica with allegiance. We had Andy with uphold the Constitution, and we had Christine with to protect the Constitution.
I'll take both of those.
Yeah.
Well, I find the first one okay. I'm just going to point it out here. Give up loyalty to other countries.
You can have dual citizenship.
No, and I
But
and I
you're-
get that, but I just from my viewpoint, I see so many people that you're in the U.S., you're a citizen, but yet you're constantly waving your flag from your former country.
Or how about all these
And it's-
people that
There's
think we
nothing
should-
wrong with that. I mean, I say that, and I don't know about,
And-
I am not a constitutional lawyer by any stretch of the imagination, but I will say that, I mean, if you want to sit there and hold up the Irish, Mexican, the Filipino flag, whatever, pick a country, right?
And
I
I'm
have
not
no problem with
saying
that. It's
that.
freedom of expression.
Well, no, there's definitely limits there. So, like, I remember a story of what was that, 3 years ago? At a school, a bunch of dreamers ran down the American flag, ran up Mexico's flag above it, and put the American flag upside down.
I remember that. That was in California.
Oh,
Wasn't it?
really?
Yeah, they put the Mexican flag above the American flag.
I mean, I get there's a fine line, right, between
No, and I get you should be proud of your heritage, your nationality. I'm not saying give that up, but I think when you're only waving your former flag and not where you're in right now, I think that speaks volumes.
there's, I mean, and it's, So I will say the veteran in me says there should be a law that says that if you run down the country, you are denouncing the country, and you should be, but then the constitutional, whatever you want to call it, part of me says that you should have freedom of expression and freedom of speech and freedom to, say bad things about your government, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it's a fine line. I don't know what the correct answer is, because, you're supposed to be able to say, I don't think the government is doing what's in our best interest. Like we could say right now, right? I don't think the government is doing what's in our best interest. But on the other hand, we should also have people that are loyal to the United States. And therein lies part of the other half of the problem that we have right now, is that we feel there's too many people. What are you laughing at?
Some of the comments.
Well, then put, kick him or something.
I think where the line is like the people that burn the flag. Or like at that school where they ran the American flag down, put the Mexican flag above it because it's disrespecting the flag.
Take the quiz off.
I mean, but I've said that forever, that, even when I was back in the military, and I would say, if you want to run down the American flag or burn the American flag, that's all right. You are free to express yourself that way, but just keep in mind that I am free to express myself about my displeasure about it.
True.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right up into and includes either one, putting the flag out, taking the flag, or two, probably just fucking decking you.
But isn't the right way?
Ding.
The right way to actually get rid of an old flag or to destroy an old flag is to burn it. Isn't that the right way to do it? I mean,
it is, but I guess it's all about how it's done.
Right. If you're doing it because you hate the country, it's a different story.
Right. Yeah. You're doing it in protest in the street. That's not the same as
if you're intentionally trying to disrespect it, then yeah.
I've seen rainbow flags in the halls of Congress in front of congressmen's doors.
Yeah, see, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I doubt you would, freaking throw the American flag on the ground or any crap like that.
Right.
Just you could doesn't mean you should.
Because
just because you could,
yeah,
you should, yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely.
Darn wine. that evolution there is beautiful,
right?
It's beautiful.
Hey, he's been sick
because whatever that said. If you raise a flag,
is it an actual law, Dan? I'm not sure if it's. I know it's etiquette, but is it an actual law?
I thought there was, but I could be wrong.
Andy says underneath there are rules regarding the flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there are rules, but rules are not necessarily laws.
Right.
There are certain etiquette things that are involved and things of that nature. But
well, just like if you fly it at night, you're supposed to have a light on it. Continuously.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a light on it and all that kind of stuff. And you fly it upside down, you're supposed to be in distress. Blah blah blah.
And you're not supposed to let it hit the ground.
All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that was a good episode.
Yeah, that was fun.
I thought so.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad you guys think it was, because I stressed you out quite a bit, and there wasn't.
No, it actually, honestly, it makes me more excited about taking the course now. I mean, because it's almost embarrassing that for me that I don't know those answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it makes me want to take this course even more, just because I have forgotten so much over the years, and I don't.
Well, I don't like that John was able to throw me off so easily.
But no, it was good. It was good. It was a good lesson.
Imagine living with me.
Oh God!
I don't want to imagine that, John.
Right? Yeah,
I don't want to.
He's got to put up with this all the time.
Hey, don't forget, if you guys haven't,
you're not really my type.
I'm pleading the fifth.
If you guys haven't checked that out on our YouTube channel yet, we are putting some shorts on our YouTube channel. So go check them out. Go share them with your friends. It's been a lot of fun to do. So,
all right, are we landing this plane?
We are, and we're going to make sure Will hits the actual ending this week.
Yeah. So, watch the ending. Watch the ending.
Yeah, stay on for the ending. It is hilarious.
We will actually play it this time.
Yeah, watch the ending.
All right, everybody have a great weekend.
Peace,
we'll see you guys next week.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
What's the song that is played where everybody is on the chair, everybody at the, going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm in prison. Where am I? No idea. Last night television. I was on a telephone, rapidly rising, and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's why it's reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was foot in the we're gonna seize the ill-gotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah.
Listen to yourself, Ron. You're fucking nut.
Let me make